Hi, good morning, and welcome to the ZP vlog. So we like to do this vlog and podcast every Sunday at approximately 8 a.m. And today we've gone live at 8 a.m. And really, it's just a roundup from the news from ZP for this week. So let me sort of dive straight into it and just say that we do put out quite a lot of news during the week. One of the things we put out this week is that we've been doing a lot of G4 food sense webinars recently. So I'll be quick about it. G4 is by its name the generation 4 of our food sense product. It started off as sort of chili pot, if you want to call it, sort of G1. But over the years, it's matured and really got to a really nice, great state now. So now we do a series of sort of webinars where we do live demonstrations of the product. The guys get in there and sort of essentially go in the lab and do this sort of material live. So people just get a really good sense of it. And we've got some really exciting collaborations coming up on Food Sense as well. I won't mention it. I've mentioned it, but I'm not going to mention the details. But Food Sense does have some very exciting collaborations coming up, and we will be doing videos and interviews with some of the sort of leaders in the chili growing community. What's quite nice about Food Sense and its sister product Sense It All. So if I just touch on Sense It All now, Sense It All really is this kind of idea that you can essentially have an idea and you can bring it to market in a really efficient manner. So what I mean by that is, you kind of think, well, I've got this biosensor electrochemical sensing idea. How can I turn this into an idea and essentially monetize it? And at ZP we have the Sense It All platform, and it really is there's an optical module, and there's also an electrochemical module. So we don't mind either way that the assay may actually progress. We can deal with essentially both of them. And so this is just a way of saying, okay, you've got this idea, here's the hardware, here's the app, here's the cloud database, these all click together, and then that idea matures in what we would call application readiness level. So that is something very intrinsic to us and very useful for our clients. Something else as well, this is more of a sort of, well, I think it's, for us, it's quite interesting. We've come up with a very robust electrochemical sensing system where it's really just an electrode embedded and within a rod. It's very compact, very tough. You could probably hit it with a hammer and it would still be okay. So it's just a sensing system for very industrial type applications. That's something that we have just released as a new product. At ZP, I've talked about application quite a few times today, actually. So we do get interesting inquiries, and somebody was asking us about sensors for fermentation in things like hard cider. Hard cider, I think it's a kind of American term. In the UK, cider means, it does mean alcoholic apple juice, essentially, or fermented apple juice, if I could put it that way. Whereas in the US, cider can just mean non-fermented apple juice, and hard cider means fermented. So hard cider just refers to having alcohol in it. At ZP, we have alcohol sensors, malic acid sensors, pH sensors, sulfur dioxide sensors. So all these sensors are kind of useful for people who are otherwise fermenting. So we just put out that, look, we have these sensors and they all work with our Sense It All platform, and therefore we can help people in those scenarios who want to be fermenting apple juice into cider. We've also got a webinar this 9th of November, so it's this week, with our colleagues at Technando in India, and it's really about data science for biosensor developers. So there will be a special webinar held in conjunction with the guys at Technando, and that happened this 9th of November. Every week at the moment, we're doing 4 webinars on this vlog and podcast. So we have a Food Sense webinar. So I'm just going to highlight that, every Wednesday at 8 a.m. London time, we do a webinar, and questions that come in during the week. We had an interesting question come in actually from India, and it's really part of our kind of commitment to things like Food Sense, that with Food Sense, we say, look, if you are a Food Sense client, then you will get personalized training. That's number one. Number two, we do a weekly webinar, so if you have questions, we will answer those questions. And with them, it was kind of interesting that we thought they were maybe just over diluting. So we have given them some advice, and hopefully they'll do that. That they won't do the over dilution. And also the third kind of commitment to making sure that people have a good time is, or good experiences, we do regular webinars as well, and demos, so that people can sort of touch with us in three ways. One of them is a personalized way, and the other, well, two of them are personalized. One of them is, here's your personal training. Number two, here's your questions and answers personalized for you. And number three, if you want to get teams trained up, just know that we've got these monthly demos running as well, and that will helps to really kind of give people a good start with this. We do have a bit of a strange one. I think I'm going to start doing two what we call ZP Developer Zone webinars. So we do one on Thursday, but I'm wondering if we're going to do one on Sundays as well. So I've got an extra ZP Developer Zone webinar today at Sunday at 8:30 a.m. London time, so immediately after this. It's just a number of questions that are kind of up. People sometimes need sort of quicker, if I can put it that, quicker answers. And so we've held another webinar today as well. It's probably worth saying that there's a big health tech conference in Dusseldorf starting the 13th of November. It's called Medica. It's kind of famous within one of the industries that we're interested in, and so myself and my business partner will be attending, and if people want to essentially come and see us, then they can reach out to us on the website and we'll arrange a meeting. So if you're going to Medica, let us essentially know about it, and then we will have our normal webinar on Thursday at 9 on 9th of November. When I say our normal webinar, we do a webinar every week, and we help, we answer technical questions that have come in from the week. A couple of product news ideas, or a couple of product things that have happened this week. At ZP, we make a lot of our electrodes rectangular. I mean, these rectangular electrodes are there for reasons in terms of microfluidics. They allow for what's called automatic start. But there are people who want these circular electrodes. So we have released, they're called the 501s for us. A 501 circular carbon electrode and a 501 platinum electrode. We're definitely price matching these circular electrodes with our sort of more traditional rectangular electrodes. But we do listen. We know that people do want these circular formats. They find them easier to kind of pipette onto and functionalize. So we have made those electrodes available as well. So I think that essentially wraps up the news from ZP for this week. So lots of webinars. There is opportunity to meet us in person, and we have had new product releases as well in terms of these new circular screen printed electrodes. So I'd say if you've got any questions for ZP, don't hesitate to reach out to us. And as I say, there's actually another webinar running in exactly about 20 minutes from now, which is answering more technical questions from ZP, or to ZP rather. Okay, as I say, don't hesitate to reach out to us, and have a good week. Thank you very much.